All right. So, as you can see, we're trying to look at a file that doesn't exist right now. And this application is going to fix that. This application is called Teamkeeper. It was created in accordance with the Vanderbilt University Coding Bootcamp curriculum using JavaScript and Node.js. And the file that we're creating is basically a team profile generator is the program. It's going to create an HTML file that managers can basically create and use to easily reference their team members, the team member name, the team member employee ID, as well as the team member email address, and then one other data point that's specific to the specific role. This application is going to create 3 different roles. It's going to create a manager, so there's going to be one manager role created per team. And what's unique to the manager role is going to be it's going to have the office phone number for the manager. It's also going to be able to create an intern role. And you can have as many interns as you want on the team. And the intern role is what's unique about that is it's going to contain the name of the school that the intern attends. And then there's the other role is an engineer role. And the engineer role is unique because the data point that's unique to that one is it will show the GitHub username. And as you'll be able to see when they click on the GitHub username, it'll actually take them to that engineer's GitHub profile as well. So this application was created using test-driven development. So as you can see here, I have 4 different test suites. Basically, the point of the test was to make sure, first off, was I was creating the object needed for the employee, which is actually the parent class. So this is the parent class, and these are the children classes, the engineer test, the intern test, and then the manager test. And so the first off, I just want to make sure that I'm creating the object. Then from there, I'm going to make sure that the proper arguments are working so that I can pull out what I need. The employee name, the employee ID, as well as the employee email. And then lastly, I have methods as well. So there's a get name method, get ID method, get email method, and a get role method as well. And so I just wanted to test those functions. And the rest of these basically have the same. Okay. So the engineer has obviously the GitHub, okay, the GitHub argument, the GitHub method, and the role method as well, which is shared with all of them to make sure it returns the right role. So yeah, and the intern tests follow that as well as the manager tests. So there's my tests, which is all great, but let's see if they pass. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the terminal integrated here in VS Code, and I'm going to navigate to the proper directory, which is right here in the test folder. So let me go ahead and do that. Oh, whoops. I accidentally had the capital C and D there. So I'm going to go ahead and get in my test directory. Here we are. So we're in this path right here, which is this right here. So I'm going to go ahead and run the test. And to do that, you're going to do npm run test. All right, we have all green, which is great. So all 4 of the test suites passed, and then all 20 tests passed as well. So we have no failing tests, so I'm confident that the application is going to run correctly. So now let's go ahead and do that. So again, we're going to navigate to the appropriate directory. So I'm going to back up 1. I'm going to get in this directory right here, which is right here. And this is the root directory, which contains our JavaScript index file. Okay. So with this being in the index, this is the I needed to be here to run in order to run the specific program or this file, which, as you can see, uses the require function, and it basically is linked to these other files here, and it kind of feeds into everything else for the application to run properly. So let's go ahead and do that. And so to do this, all you're going to do is type in node and then the name of the file. So first, it's going to prompt for the team manager name. And then the team manager ID, we'll go ahead and put 1, and the email address. And then it's going to ask, again, this is specific to the manager role. It's going to ask for a phone number. Excuse me. It's going to ask, so as you can see, it alerted in the console log there that Team Manager was added. And it's asking me if I would like to add another team member. So I'm going to say yes. And this time I'm presented with a choice of do I want to add an engineer or an intern. So I'm going to go ahead and add an engineer. What is the engineer's name? Engineer ID. And then the email address for the engineer. And then, again, specific to the engineer, it's going to ask for the GitHub username. So I'm going to put mine in there. It's going to ask if I want to add another team member. I'm going to say yes. And this time I'm going to add an intern. What is the intern's name? What is the intern's ID? And then what is the email address for the intern? And then the question that's specific to the intern role: at what school is the intern currently enrolled? So let's say baby. All right. Do you want to add another team member? This time I'm going to say no. And as you can see, it's going to direct us to check out the distribution folder to see your team's HTML. And look at there. There it is. So we have the new team HTML. And as you can see, this is a file that was generated. And if we go back to where we're at, refresh, and there it is. So there's the file that we just created using the TeamKeeper application. As you can see, it has the team member's name, and it's going to have their role as well. And each role has a unique icon, and as well as the unique data point specific to the role as well. If you click on the email address, you're going to see that it does open up the email client, and it's going to generate the email address there for them so they can easily email the employee. And then specific on the engineer, if you click on the GitHub username, you're going to see that it does take them to the GitHub profile for that username. So, all in all, I think it's working great. So thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed this, and have a great day.